We continue our Yom Kippur observances with Yizkor. This service will be a webinar, so participant audio will be muted and you won't see other attendees. During the first part of this service, we will share our roll of remembrance with names and photos of departed loved ones. The names are alphabetical based on the mourner's last name. If there are others you're mourning, you may enter their names in the chat window. We ask that the chat window be reserved for this purpose during this service. For those of you who received the home kit, you want to have the Yizkor service booklet on hand. You can download a copy of the booklet by going to our website, bethatikva.org, and selecting High Holiday Information page. Our Ne'ilah service will begin following this service. As a reminder, you'll need to exit this service and click on the dedicated link for the Ne'ilah service in the email you received earlier this afternoon. Thank you for sharing your holidays with us, and our service resumes now with Yizkor.
In olden times, when you could not go to a supermarket and buy a yahrzeit candle, people made them by hand. Jewish women would dip string in wax over and over, creating candles that were much larger than the ones we use today. Making candles is time-consuming and requires patience. As they dipped the wicks, women would recite prayers. Then they would bring the candles to shul, where they helped provide light before there was electricity. The candles were a perfect physical expression of what we sometimes forget, that those who came before us, those we knew and loved, and those who died long before we were born, all of them light the way for us. It's easy to forget when you go to a store and buy a candle, but I imagine our great-great-great-grandmothers patiently dipping wicks in wax and remembering their loved ones. The image of those women lights our way as we pause in the midst of our busy lives to remember all of our ancestors who have lighted the way for us. Please turn to pages 4 and 5 in the Yizkor booklet.
Adonai madam vatedaehu ben enosh vatechashvehu Adam lehevel damar yamav ketzel over Vaboker yatzitz v'chalaf La'erev yemolel v'yavesh Tashev enosh ad daka Vatomer shuvu b'nei Adam.
Almighty One, what are human beings that you take note of them? The children of humanity that you should think of them. A human being is like a momentary breeze. A person's days are but a passing shadow. At dawn, life blossoms and renews itself. At dusk, it withers and dries up. You return a person to dust. You say, return, O children of humanity. Return our thoughts to yesterday, to a world that lives only in our memory. As we recall the days gone by, we know the past is irretrievable. Yet, through the gift of memory, we recapture treasured moments and images. We are thankful for the happiness we knew with those no longer here, with whom we lived and laughed and loved. We praise the eternal wellspring of life who links yesterday to tomorrow. We affirm that despite all the tragedy bound up with living, it is still good to be alive. We understand that there can be no love without loss, no joy without sorrow. May we have the courage to accept the all of life, the love and the loss, the joy and the sorrow, as we remember them. Please turn to page 7. In the rising of the sun and in its going down,
We remember them.
in the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter,
We remember them.
in the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring,
We remember them.
in the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer,
We remember them.
in the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn,
We remember them.
in the beginning of the year and when it ends,
We remember them.
when we are weary and in need of strength,
We remember them.
when we are lost and sick at heart,
We remember them.
when we have joys we yearn to share.
We remember them.
So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them.
Esainai el Harim me'ayin yavo Ezri. Esainai el Harim me'ayin yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. Esainai el Harim me'ayin yavo Ezri. Esainai el Harim me'ayin yavo Ezri.
We will now take a few moments to silently recite the individual Yizkor prayers. There is an introduction on page 13, and then the individual prayers begin on page 14. Please recite whichever prayers are appropriate for you. And there are also beautiful poems and meditations on pages 21 to 39. And please, if you have a little extra time, feel free to look through them and read a few during this time of silence. We now turn back to page 6, and please rise for the memorial prayer El Malei Rachamim.
El Malei Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hametzeh, Hametzeh, Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei HaShechina, B'mahalot Kedoshim Udhorim, K'zohar Harakia Mazhirim. ונשמות יקירנו קדושנו שהלכו לעולמם. אנא בעל הרחמים, אז תירם בצר כנפיך לעולמים. וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתם. אדוני הוא נחתם. וינוחו ושלום על משכבם. ונאמר Amen.
God filled with mercy, dwelling in heaven's heights, bring proper rest beneath the wings of your Shekhinah, amid the ranks of the holy and the pure, illuminating like the brilliance of the skies, the souls of our beloved and our blameless, who went to their eternal place of rest. May you, who are the source of mercy, shelter them beneath your wings eternally, and bind their souls among the living, that they may rest in peace. And let us say,
Amen.
I want to thank Arlene Soldati, who put together this beautiful Yizkor book for us last year, and also a shout out to Pam Schachter, who had the original idea a few years ago. And also to Arlene for creating that beautiful roll of remembrance with the photos this year. Arlene will now read for us In Praise of the Living on page 8 in your booklet.
In praise of the living, Yit Gadal V'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah. This profound praise of the living, praise for the generous gift of life. Praise for the presence of loved ones, the bonds of friendship, the link of memory. Praise for the toil and searching, the dedication and visions, the ennobling aspirations. Praise for the precious moorings of faith, for courageous souls, for prophets, psalmists, and sages. Praise for those who walk before us, the sufferers in the valley of shadows, the steadfast in the furnace of hate. Praise for the God of our fathers, the source of all growth and goodness, the promise of which we build tomorrow. Yit Gadal V'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah. This, the profound praise we offer. Praise for the generous gift of life.
Please rise for the mourner's Kaddish. It is on your screen. It's also in the booklets on page 9. And just a reminder that on the high holidays, we repeat the word Le'ela. Yikadal v'yikadash shmei Rabbah. V'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayachon u'v'yamechon. V'chayed chol Beit Yisrael. V'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach li'alam olamei almaya. Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmeid kudasha richu. Le'ela le'ela Mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'alma v'imru amin. Yehe shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amin. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may all of our loved ones' memories be for blessing. On page 10, you will also find Psalm 23. This is the translation that is found in the Reconstructionist Prayer Book. You'll see that it's a bit different from the one we're familiar with. A Psalm of David. The Eternal is my shepherd, I shall never be in need. Amid the choicest grasses does God set me down. God leads me by the calmest waters and restores my soul. God takes me along paths of righteousness, in keeping with the honor of God's name. Even should I wander in a valley of the darkest shadows, I will fear no evil. You are with me, God. Your power and support are there to comfort me. You set in front of me a table in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup is overflowing. Surely good and loving kindness will pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall come to dwell inside the house of the Eternal for a length of days. The Hebrew is on page 11.
Mizmor leDavid, Adonai hoi lo echsar, Binot Esher yarbitzeni, Amei menuchot yanahaleni. Nafshi yeshover, Nafshi yeshover, Yancheni v'margaret tzedek l'man shemo. Gam ki elech begeitz al mavet, lo irara ki ata imadi, shivtecha umishantecha, shivtecha umishantecha, Ema yanachamuni, Taroch lefanai shulchan. Taroch lefanai shulchan neged sorai. Dishanta vashemen roshi. Dishanta vashemen roshi kosir vayai. Ach tov achesed yirudufuni kol yemei chayai v'shavti beveit Adonai v'shavti beveit Adonai L'orech yamim